Okay, all of you should have finished your first round of crocodile stitches. So what I'm going to do is anchor my last one into our last V-stitch here on this side, and that ends round 1 of crocodile stitches. If you want to, you can simply tie off here and be done and just have the 1 round. I prefer the look of at least having 2 rounds, so I'm going to continue on, and we're going to do a V-stitch into our V-stitch. Okay, so since I already anchored here with a single crochet, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and do a double crochet to create our V-stitch. Chain 1, and then we're going to work into the corner in this round here. So this is from our first round, this here's from our second round. We're going to do, ooh, that did not work, a V-stitch. My yarn wrap slipped off, so here we go. Let's try that again. Start with a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. That's your first V-stitch. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and do our second V-stitch in the corner, just like our first round that we did of V-stitches. There's 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet for our V-stitch. Okay, so this should look just like your beginning round of V-stitch. Okay, so now we're going to turn to our side on the blanket while I adjust this here. Okay, and we're going to work a V-stitch into the top of each V-stitch. This is not an extended one, it's just around the tops here. Okay, so our V-stitch here, we're going to chain 1 and then work in the top of this V-stitch. Let's try that again there. Okay, chain, double crochet, and another V-stitch is complete. Chain 1, working into this V-stitch here, and I'm working over everything that's on there. So this single crochet that we use to anchor to the V-stitch, we're simply working over it so that the scales lay flat, because if you worked into this, it would kind of pull these up and they won't lay as flat. So hold that down, and we're just going to work over all that. Okay, first double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, for our V-stitch, chain 1, working into our space here, the top of that V-stitch, chain, double crochet, another V-stitch completed, chain 1, our next V-stitch. Remember, we're going around all that's on there. And chain 1. And you're going to work like that all along the side. And then when you get to your next corner, you will continue working like normal. So you do a V-stitch here, a V-stitch here, V-stitch here, and then working into your corner, you do your V-stitch, chain 3, V-stitch. So when I get there, I'll show you how to do that. Okay? But if you just want to keep going, go right ahead. So I'll meet you there. Okay, I've made it to the next corner, and I did my last V-stitch on this particular side here, and did my last chain 1. Now we're going to work into the corner. In this corner we have our 2 V-stitches and our chain 3 corner. So we're going to do a V-stitch like normal into this V-stitch. Chain 1, and now we're going to work 2 V-stitches into here with a chain 3 between the 2 of them. So first V-stitch, okay, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to work another V-stitch in here. Okay, so that's that corner. We're going to chain 1 and work into this V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and there is your corner. Now you're going to continue on doing your V-stitches into every V-stitch with a chain 1 between them. Do that all the way around, and you can re-watch the corners on how you do that. Okay, and I'll meet you at the end of the round where I will show you how I join into here, and then we'll start our next round of crocodile stitches. I'll meet you there. Okay, I have finished my last V-stitch, and I chained 1. Now it's time to join. Remember, we started with a single crochet and then we chained 3. So we're only going to go up to the second chain, and we're going to slip stitch to join, leaving 1 chain as the chain that's usually between the V-stitches, between the double crochets there, to create that V-stitch. So that there is that chain. So this next one here is where we're going to join. Okay. Slip stitch. So I pull through there and then through the loop that's on the hook, and that's our slip stitch. Now I'm going to single crochet around the corner. This is my last round, so I'm going to make it a bit more finished looking, and I do that by using single crochets rather than slip stitching around. So we do 1 in the center, 1 between, 1 in the center. Okay, now we're at the corner. We're going to do 2 single crochets. So there's 1 and 2. Now I'm chaining 1 and then doing 2 more single crochets. 1, 2, and then I'm going to single crochet into this V-stitch here. Okay, I'm going to pull my hook out so I can show the corner better. So by using the single crochets, this corner looks a bit more finished than having a loop of chains. Okay, if you want to do more than 2 rows of scales, instead of doing single crochets, you would do a single crochet, chain 3 single crochet like we did in our previous round, so that you have that loop to do another round of V-stitches on. Okay, so now we're going to move on and begin our scales. So we're going to begin our first scale in this V-stitch. So this single crochet was our first anchor. And to make the crocodile stitch look good, you don't want your scales stacked upon each other. You want them alternated. So you're going to do a scale here, anchor here on top of this scale, do a scale here that's between them, and then anchor here. Okay? So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and do my first double crochet around the first side of the V-stitch. Remember, we're doing six along this one double crochet. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chaining 1, and then I'm going to move up this side of the V-stitch with 6 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to anchor in the V-stitch that's above the scale from the previous rounds. Okay? So you see how that overlaps there? That's the effect you're going for. I'm going to show you with a few more scales so you can see how that ends up being. So remember, this is the V-stitch that's between these two scales. Okay, needed to adjust a bit there. The blanket was falling off the table and pulling on the yarn. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're chaining 1. Turn the work slightly to help you, and then work up this side of the V-stitch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. Then I'm anchoring here above this scale. And you can see the overlap of these two scales on the one that's below it. Okay? Let's do 2 more, and then I'll leave you to it, and I'll show you how to do the next corner. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. Chain 1, adjusting the work, working up this side. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Anchoring. And moving on to the next one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chain 1. Moving up this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And anchoring. Okay, so this is your look at 4 scales overlapping the previous round. Now continue doing this until you get to the corner, and I'll meet you there.